Hey guys, my name is David Todd. I am the owner of the Green Grenade Trailbound T4R on Instagram. If you've seen me, you probably have. But today we're gonna go through an entire walk around of my 97 Toyota 4Runner behind me. So we're gonna go through the ins and outs and see it all. All right, so I'm gonna take you over the whole front of the Green Grenade here, and we're gonna start off with the front bumper, the thing you see first. I used to have an old Insane Fab red front bumper, and that's how I became known. And I was known as that kid with the red front bumper back in high school and everything, and would get stopped at the gas station for it. But luckily, CBI saved the day, and I put on one of their bumpers a few years ago, and it's been handling everything I've thrown at it for years. It just continues to see abuse. Fun fact, CBI stands for can't break it, and I have not been able to break it yet, so that's a fun fact. We got Extreme LED. I've had them since the beginning, the OG days of Extreme LED. They were a really cool company back in the day. I don't know how they're doing now. I haven't used any of their products from the last 5 years, but these still work and are fantastic lights. So really like that. What else do we got down here? We got the Schmidt-Built winch in here. I don't have it hanging out right now because I'm actually selling the truck and I took my Factor 55 flat link off. So we got a Schmidt-Built like 10,000 pound or 8,000 pound winch in there. I don't really know what it is. It works some of the time, I think, but I don't really use it all that much. The lockers help more, so we'll get to those in a minute. But we also have the SRQ Fabrications Satoshi grill. I will say I've built 3 or 4 of these myself, and it's so much better just to buy it from Matt at SRQ. His quality is just fantastic, and he knows what he's doing. He's built plenty of them to get it down right. All right, so on this cold Colorado day, while I'm drinking my Coors, I'm gonna take a step back. You already saw the front end. Before we go through the rest of the truck, let me tell you what I built this truck for. I actually bought this truck when I was 16 years old for nothing from my neighbor. He's a good guy. I did a lot of work for him on the side, but I ended up getting this truck from him, and I had to let it sit for 6 months while I could afford to even buy tires for the thing. But I knew when I turned 16 and I got my license, I wanted to have my name on the title of my own vehicle. So I made that happen and I bought the Green Grenade. Throughout the years, I didn't know anything about off-roading. I had no idea that this whole world existed. I didn't know I'd fall in love with it. I didn't know I'd be building all of these trucks and be going on all of these drives. But my buddy in high school took me out on the trail one day, and from then on, he changed my life. So I bought a set of all-terrain tires. I started building this whole truck with used parts first and learning everything, and then figuring out that maybe that wasn't the best decision to do. And I've now gone through multiple reiterations of this truck to get it to where it is today. And I'm pretty happy with it. All right, so now back into the truck. We'll talk about suspension because that was a major part in the build over the years. So down here, I did King 2.5-inch coilovers with SPC upper control arms. They're the extended travel ones with the spacer taken out of the coilover, so you get that extra down travel. I ran them for years without the extended travel and had the spacer in, and it was totally fine. But I had them rebuilt and revalved not too long ago, and it made a whole world of difference. RLT suspension, Miles, he's a great guy. He knows what he's doing behind the taking apart shocks and valving, because this thing is butter, I tell you what. To go along with the front down here, I also did what are they? The White Line LCA bushings. It is a total game changer. And then I did the SPC's cam bolts because those needed to be replaced too. But my alignment is absolutely perfect with these, with the SPC setup and all the actual bushings and suspension work. So it's like stock, just a perfected version of stock. We also down here, we tubbed the firewall and we pushed it back about 3-4 inches so we could fit the 35-inch tires at full bump and full lock. And the fenders are actually cut and the bumper are cut about 4 inches up. So it looks factory. That's because Phoenix with Arcworks did an amazing job on the cut and the tubbing. He came down from Bozeman and actually did this in the weekend for me. So that was really cool of him. Has made a tremendous difference off-road. And to go along with that, oh yeah, we're running 35-inch Firestone MT2s with Black Rhino Uray beadlocks. Why Uray? Because Uray beadlock, the Uray, Colorado is one of my favorite places on earth, but had to get the wheel named it, so super cool. 35, 1250, 17s, negative 30 offset, and they fit at full bump, full lock. No body lift, 2-inch suspension up front and 2 to 3 in the back, depending on how loaded down it is. All right, so before we move on to anything interior or to the back of the truck or to the side of the truck, we'll go over the ditch lights. We also have extreme LED ditch lights with the CBI ditch light brackets. This one, I've literally ran into a tree and that's why it's bent, but still works just fine. CBI, can't break it. We'll go under the hood now and check out what's going on under there. Nothing too crazy. Put my beer down. Hang on. Get you some of that. All right, so under the hood, we have a Group 31 battery. This is twice the size of stock, and I am using a CBI Group 31 battery tray. It is absolutely killer, and it just holds that like 80-pound battery in place. I would love to relocate it on my next build, but that is a lot of weight up there. The CBI battery tray, though, quality. What else do we have? We have the Scarab blinker fluid. This is just for windshield washer fluid. Super cool little bottle, fits behind the stock air box. It leaves room for big tires and all that stuff. They're good guys over there. We like them. We also have an ARB compressor. This is for my air lockers only. I did dual ARB air lockers in this truck with 529 gears. So this thing crawls. It definitely will go anywhere I point it. So I've been impressed with it, what this truck can do. What else do we have? Oh, we deleted ABS. That was a big thing. I had some brake issues for a while back in, I don't know, it was a year or two ago. And so we deleted that and got rid of that because who needs it? And we did a Chevy K5 Blazer master cylinder with the stock booster for the brakes set up on here. This does have Tundra. I think they're the 13W brakes. The big calipers, the big rotors, and it helps a ton. I do want to put in a proportioning valve because in the T100 booster, just to get that extra vacuum and a little bit more lockup, but she already locks them up, so I'm impressed so far. All right, so we're moving on to the side of the truck now, and we're gonna go over my RSG rock sliders. These were actually the first weld-on RSG 3rd gen rock sliders they made. Super cool that I was able to get a set of them, especially this set, and they have served me very well. I've dropped this thing off ledges, rocks, all sorts of stuff, pivoted off trees, no problem, but I've repainted them a few times so they do look better than usual, but they're welded on. They have gussets, 1/4-inch gussets. They're unbelievably strong. I didn't go with DOM. A lot of people ask why not DOM or DOM versus HREW for sliders, and I was like, well, sliders are a consumable in my book, so you're going to be replacing those every few years. Like if you're actually wheeling and you're really hitting them, you're going to be replacing those quite often. Same with bumpers even. So Sliders, they're just a consumable to me. HREW is plenty strong for everything I do, and if I need something more, I'll just cut it off and weld a new set on. So super cool. From now, we'll move on to the interior. I used to have a 8-pod switch system in here from Switch Pros, like the touchscreen one, and it was on a ram mount right here, but I uninstalled that because the truck is actually for sale. And that is the one piece I'm taking to my other truck. So kept that. But we have the ARB air lockers right here. We got compressor, rear and front. And those are the strongest lockers on the market. I absolutely love them. And I love that you can actually engage the locker at any given point in an obstacle. It's not like an e-locker where you have to roll into it, you have to, you know, have half a turn of the diff or whatever just to get it to engage. I can be mid-obstacle, turn on and off my front locker, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I've had this front locker for, I don't know, 2-3 years now, and I have not once broken a CV with my front locker. So that should say something. It all comes down to driver and being able to control the truck. So granted, I haven't wheeled too much, but still. We also have some wet Ocal seat covers. These are like $300 seat covers that I got used, but they're signed by Dirthead Dave, and if you watch Dirt Every Day, you know who that is. These were in an episode, these were off a truck that was in their 3rd Gen 4Runner episode where they raced, and that was off that truck. So I stole those from them because they were at the shop I was working at, and they were cool. I was like, I need seat covers. So we have those, and it's kind of just nostalgic, and if you watch those guys, it's fun. We have what do we got? We got a Cobra CB radio. I don't think I've ever actually got it to work in all 8 years, but FJ Summit required those back in the day, so I made sure to have one. It looks cool. The antenna just needs to be tuned, probably. I also did, what did I do? This truck has 275,000 miles on it now. I bought it at 208,000 miles, so I haven't put too many on it, but they haven't been the easiest miles ever. So, yeah, I mean, it's wild what this thing has gone through if you follow my page. What else do we got going on in here? We have a Kenwood double den stereo. It has no Bluetooth. It has an aux hookup and a USB hookup. That is all you need. Under the passenger seat, I have a 900 watt 4-channel precision power amp, and that just powers my speakers. I have JL Audio front speakers and kickers in the rear doors, I believe, and this thing bumps. I also have a 12-inch sub in the back. We'll get to that later. We sound deadened it, the whole nine. Like, the thing, she rips. What else do we got? 4-wheel drive, that all works. Super cool. So we're going down the side, but I might as well point out some body damage. This was the first hit I ever took. I ate it on Chinaman's back in the day and was following the T40R to solid axle fit gen 4Runner. I was on 32s at the time with no sliders, but I dented the whole door and the rocker panel in and just came down on it. From then on, I bought sliders, but that may be the reason why I have RSG sliders, because they kind of owed me. What else do we have going on back here? This was Cane Creek. Hamburger Hill got me there when I was 32s, open, no lockers. This was the RSG parking lot. You've probably seen the reel of that one on Instagram. Has like 4 million views right now. Stupid. And then this right here that's Chinaman Gulch, and I dragged pretty much the whole side along a rock bigger than this truck. So she has a Beat Not Babied sticker. We like that page. That page is super cool. They have some awesome stickers and merch. All right, before I move on to the back, we'll go over my roof rack. I chose the Prinzu design roof rack because It's so clean. It has like 10 crossbars on it. And I like how it mounts right into the factory holes. Gets rid of all the factory BS, which I've had break multiple times on my truck. So I just got rid of that and went with a Prinzu, and it has been fantastic. I use rooftop tent here and there, so it's really nice to have, and it looks great. I mean, that's half the reason we build these trucks, is because they look really cool. So that was a big reason. Now we'll move around back. So we have the CBI bumper, rear swing out. You can't get these CBI bumpers anymore. They don't make them. Potentially, if there was a big enough order, I was told they could make them again, and that could be a thing in the future, but we don't know. I would love to get another one on my truck in the future, but we'll see. So as you can see, it has a fold down table. All rear swing outs need that. Definitely a game changer for camping. I have all my favorite stickers on here, just super cool. We got all the fun brands. I was very dedicated, and RSG has been a big part of this build and my life. So got that riveted into the back hatch. Stainless steel plate, super cool. We have Team 4Runner, also a big, huge part of my life. Love it. Also, those who know. So we'll go back here. Also, this is the Insane Fab antenna mount. They actually don't make these anymore. Insane Fab, I don't know what he's doing nowadays, but Corey's saying, if you know what's up, or if I see you, what's up? You're a good guy, we like you. So yeah, anyways, this is a Insane Fab CB antenna mount. Super cool. I've had that for years. I used to have two of them. Put a little light on one side. It just goes into like factory holes right here. They don't make those anymore. I don't know who does. Maybe some companies out there have copied the design. I know there's been hundreds of makes of that, but it used to be a really big thing back when I was first getting into this industry. So back here, what do we got going on? We have my favorite. This is a Dometic fridge. Obviously you got to keep it cold you got to keep it stocked. Got to have some beers. So got the Dometic fridge. It's got a little, I put in this little outlet right here. This panel has definitely seen better days. I've used this as a work truck, so that's cool. I also built this drawer. I wanted a single drawer. I used to have two drawers back here and a whole platform all the way across, but the drawers were too small and I couldn't fit a toolbox or anything in them. So I scrapped the idea and I went to one drawer. I also couldn't reach the fridge. I'm a short guy, so having a fridge when it's up on like an actual like extra drawer, it's a pain in the ass to get to when you're camping. So I'll either throw the fridge back here or I'll throw it behind the driver's seat or the passenger seat, and it works so much better that way. It is absolutely freezing, the wind coming in, but we'll move on to my drawer. I didn't do normal drawer slides on this. Like, there's nothing you can see, but it slides totally fine. Super nice. And when it's weighted down, it's gonna slide just as good. So on the bottom here, I did like plexiglass, and I just have it riding on each other, so it just slides really nice. Did some like flush mount screws in there, glued it on. That's a cheap way of doing it, and I don't see a lot of people doing that type of thing. They'll spend $500 on some damn drawer slides, and it's like, why? You can build it for so much cheaper and way more functional. So anyways, back here, I usually store all my recovery gear and my tools for this truck. I keep 2 spare CVs usually. I keep lower ball joints because it's a 3rd gen 4Runner. If you're a 3rd gen 4Runner guy, you know. I have a couple spare parts because I'm selling it. I got my timbered bump stops back here because those are off right now. A couple spare links because we'll get to that rear suspension in a minute, but that's been a problem of mine for years now. I love this drawer. This is a setup that I'm going to be putting in all of my trucks because a single drawer is a game changer. Just having it all right there. It's like having a tote in your truck with, you know, your jumper cables, your first aid kit, all that stuff just always stays in the vehicle. It's super nice to have. And this is locked. So can't really access it if somebody were to break a window or whatnot. I also have the JBL 12-inch subwoofer. This is a powered subwoofer with a 450 watt amp to it. Let me tell you, this thing slaps. I put the same sound system in my buddy's 4Runner in high school, and we would go to tailgates and get the dual aux cables so we could combine both of our 4Runners together at tailgates and just have a party. It was really fun. But this sound system is by far one of my favorite mods in this truck. Can't get enough of it. So the CBI rear bumper, we'll get down to the rear suspension, but I will point some things out on the way down. So CBI, something cool they did with this rear bumper. I don't know if they're still doing it or if many companies do it, but they put these skates on the bottom of their bumper. So the frame rail is ending right here, but this has a quarter or a half-inch piece of steel that's all bent into that mounting plate. So it's giving that extra rigidity for the frame and everything, and actually making it strong there. But it's also, you can come down rocks and it slides so much easier off rocks because it just has that little bit of metal to slide off of rather than the entire frame. So cool thing that CBI did. I don't know if they still do it, but I really like that stuff. Oh yeah, so this suspension under here, we'll go and we'll look. So Envision Fabrication, these guys I love. Travis and Justin over there are great guys. I came to them, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, and I was like, hey guys, I want to put 12-inch travel King shocks on the back of my 4Runner, and I want to do them outboard mount. But nobody made a kit at the time, and nobody really did it. There were a few, and I got some ideas here and there, and I was like, and I followed these guys on Instagram, the Mighty Red Chili, the Honey Badger. If you know their trucks, they're sick. So I followed them on Instagram. I'm like, hey, can you guys, like, I know you guys can weld. Would this be a project you could do? And luckily they took it on for me, and we developed a 12-inch outboard mount kit for 3rd gen 4Runners. This was a 2nd or 3rd kit that we figured out for this truck, and it was originally built for 33s. That is why you see my tire is rubbing on my shock body here. So this kit was absolutely perfect on 33s with this truck, and I did not hit the shock. I didn't do anything. We have the frame notched in there. It's a nice shock hoop, super clean, and it gives you absolutely insane articulation off-road and so much stability on-road. That's another thing, is these 3rd gens, I don't have sway bars in here, so the body roll is absolutely ridiculous in here, and I wanted to put an anti-rock in here, but I need a lot more stuff before that happens. So I was planning on going 12-inch outboard shocks and doing a 3-link rear. That never happened, and I've just been running stock geometry since. I went up to 35 since, and I've just been figuring stuff out as I go. But that will be a project for the new owner. So anyways, these outboard shock mounts are awesome. If you have a 3rd gen 4Runner, I'd recommend reaching out to Envision Fab. They are out of Colorado. I'm pretty sure they still make them, and they're a really cool company. But there are some other companies out there coming out with kits and have new kits that have got the idea, I don't know where from, but it was from somewhere. Just saying. All right, so to go off on my tangent about rear suspension, I learned very quickly that 12-inch shocks don't work with stock geometry on a truck. That's not a good thing. So the stock length of these shocks are like 8 inches, and they're inboard mounted, and I went to a 12-inch outboard mounted. So when I flex this truck out, it gets a ton of roll steer, so it'll pull that front tire or that rear tire forward that droops out. So it's basically just binding up the entire suspension, and it causes your drive shaft to actually swing because the links are too short. But but it causes your drive shaft to swing into your gas tank. Common 4Runner problem when you get mad flex. Everybody knows this. So there's, you know, the panhard correction brackets that people say work and blah, blah, blah. I've never experienced a difference with mine ever working. I think it's the most pointless mod. I don't even know why people do it, because it's really not, it made no difference whatsoever. I will say that getting rid of the geometry and just starting fresh with a 3-link or swapping over to Chevy or Tundra 63-inch leaf springs would be a better option. And that is what I plan to tell the next owner of this vehicle when they buy it. But I've learned that over the years it is not worth it to go outboard. It is just keep it inboard and run some 9-inch travel shocks, or if you're going to go outboard, make sure you're ready to do it right and do it the right way. Like, do it all at once. Don't do it in stages like I did, and figure it out as it goes, because it will be years down the line and you still won't get anywhere. So this rear bumper, a couple things I want to touch on here. So I chose the Roto packs. I'm only carrying water right now. I don't really use it. It's empty 95% of the time, unless I'm going on a trip. But why Roto packs? Yes, they do leak. Yes, I've heard everything. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. But the approach angle or the departure angle coming off rocks, if I had an actual jerry can set up in the whole mount here, every time I'm climbing an obstacle or coming off an obstacle, that's going to hit every time. The Rotopax is flat right up against there, and if I'm only carrying a gallon of water or 2 gallons of water, it's not too bad. So it can leak a little bit, it can just be fine. And I like having there, it looks good. That's another part, it looks good. Looks the part. Well, also have my full matching 35-inch spare on a Black Rhino beadlock, matching, obviously. Can't have unmatching wheels and tires, in my opinion. It just looks so good when it's on the back and it's matching. So, and I did angled for the exact same reason. Gives a little bit more departure angle coming off ledges and, you know, climbing super steep obstacles. And it actually goes with the angle of the back hatch, which I think is something more companies need to do. Having it mounted higher up and angled with the back hatch as your spare tire is just total game changer. I know it's a lot more leverage, but if you build the bumper right, you shouldn't have a problem. What else? We'll go around to this side. We have a little bit of body damage. This was Holy Cross, my first time doing it in the rain and hail, and that was a hoot and a half. Let me tell you, that was a trip of a lifetime. One of the coolest trails I've ever experienced. And then I went back and did it again yesterday, or not yesterday, but last year. So that was super fun to do it again. And I did it with no winching and didn't break anything the second time. The first time I did winch though, but I didn't break anything, so that was cool. What else do we got back here? Nothing too crazy. It is something weird about this truck is it is an SR5, but it has leather interior and a sunroof. So SR5 Premium from 97 maybe. I don't know. It's kind of cool. I don't see those very often, but we have all our camera gear in the back of here. As you know, if you follow my social media, I shoot a lot of photos, so we're always shooting video and photo all the time. So have all that stacked back there. And what else do we have? I think I was missing one thing up front here. So we got full CBI skid plates. The CBI skid plates are awesome, 3/16 steel. I would always go steel skid plates over aluminum just because it's the thing that gets hit most on your truck. Same with sliders. It's stuff that's actually going to get hit. Anything that's really getting used, just go steel. I had aluminum, and I cracked welds, I cracked the metal. It was just not a good thing. So I know aluminum can be built right, but I don't know if you want to take that risk if you're actually like wheeling the living piss out of your truck. If you're just an overlander going on some mild trails here and there, obviously that's totally fine, totally different. But for pushing the limits and what we like to do or what I like to do. Steel is the way to go for sure. Okay, so before I end this video, and there's a couple other things I want to touch on. I did bedline the hood on this truck, and I bedlined the bottoms of the doors. Why? Because Toyota's clear coat from the late 90s was atrocious. So, and the bottoms of the doors I knew would get beat up, so I made sure to bedline all those, and I think it looks kind of cool, but that's just me. So that's pretty much the Green Grenade in a nutshell. There's nothing too crazy, but it gets you where you need to go and just keeps running, so it's fun. It's fun. Thanks for watching, guys. I don't know.
That was good.